Welcome to New Zealand, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, man.
First time.
First time indeed. Yeah, why has it taken so long?
I don't know. It's just the way things have been working out. You know, it's a couple firsts.
Yeah,
you know,
we've never
in this
been down
whole
to this
run.
part of the world before, so I don't know why it's taking so long. We've been wanting to get here. We've never turned anything down, but
Are we doing
trying.
Everything backwards?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, Lzzy, you and your bro have been going, since 97. It's a long, long time, man.
18 years in Halestorm, yeah. We're all quite obsessed, actually, yeah. And there was never a backup plan, so it's like, well, it's all in, all in or nothing.
Hey, do you look back and go, oh man, the best move we made was firing Dad?
Yeah, actually. No, we were just talking about that because, again, poor Dad. But when you start a band and you're 13 and Dad's still kind of cool, and then a year goes by and it's like you're 14 and now Dad is not cool anymore. and so like he was bummed, but at the same time it's like, couldn't do that forever. But it was quite the process to like actually get him back to just being Dad, because he was bass player for like a year, fired him from bass player, and then we're like, well, you can run sound. He's horrible at that. So we had to fire him from being a sound guy. We're like, well, you can drive the van. He's a terrible driver. So now he's just Dad, and we're not going to fire him from that anytime soon. So
he's keeping that job.
He's a proud dad, yeah.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Now, in terms of vocals, I mean, you've got a killer vocal, right?
Oh, thank you.
And I guess every singer's the same. Everybody who's a singer starts with the hairbrush in the bedroom mirror to Axl Rose or Ozzy Osbourne or whoever the hell, Steve Tyler, whoever it is they want to be. So how did you find your own voice? Because so many vocalists get stuck in that they sound alike to someone else.
I think like on accident, inadvertently, I didn't grow up listening to a lot of chick singers. It was a lot of my dad's music, so it was a lot of 70s and 80s hard rock and metal, like Dio and Sabbath. Obviously, there's Alice Cooper, Tom Kiefer from Cinderella, like those types of just powerhouse vocalists, with a little bit of grit to them. So I naturally gravitated toward that. And then my mom, when I was about 16, started introducing me to female vocals, because I think she just had it in her head, like, you're listening to all these guys, you should listen to some good ones. So she introduced me to Hart and Pat Benatar and Stevie Nicks and everything, which all were kind of walk that line too. So I don't know, it's a really weird, I guess, eclectic mix of that type of era, and it's still something that's always stuck with me.
Yeah, well, one of the things that I noticed when I was, researching you for the interview was pretty much the second or third thing every time I searched you that came up was hottest chicks in metal.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I mean, does it get to the point that you're just like, fuck that shit? If I was a dude, you'd be talking about how good a singer I am or how good a guitarist I am. I don't give a shit.
It's he agrees. Yeah, I've done the hottest chick in metal thing, and for Revolver magazine like 6 times now. They just asked me to do one again, and I actually told them, I said, well, you've actually never done a cover story on my band, so do a story on my band. I'll throw that in for free. I'll do the hottest chick thing again. But so that's what we're talking about now. So yeah, I don't know. On one hand, it's a grand balance with me, because obviously I'm a girl. I don't mind, wearing the lipstick, the high heels, that kind of thing. But personally, for me, I always want to make sure that I'm backing that up with something. It's not all about the fact that I'm a chick.
I have that same thing. I got to back it up.
Yeah, right. It's not all about your good looks.
People get so carried away.
George Clooney over here can't carry the look. Can't
yeah,
do the
right.
look thing on his own.
It's so funny, but yeah, I don't know. Then you could also flip it around, because I've talked about this a lot too. Was in the beginning, especially when nobody had any clue who we were, I was usually the only girl on the bill, and I'm sticking out like a sore thumb. So at least even if nobody knew our band name, they're like, oh, that girl with the chicken, and I want that CD.
Yeah.
So in that way, you kind of have an advantage, even from the guys' perspective, because you stick out. But yeah, I don't know. I think no matter what the bottom line has to be, work hard at what you do, and and make sure it's talent first, and everything else will fall in line.
I remember reading years ago, and I think it was a Hit Parade or one of those magazines, it was an interview with Lita Ford. They said to her, she was talking about she always found it really hard to find a guy who would join her band and play rhythm and let her play lead.
Yeah.
There was that kind of that ego thing. And they said to her, oh, well, you know, what do you say to people that say that you need balls to rock? And she's like, oh, that's totally true, man. I wear mine on my chest. They're bigger than most dudes. So that's awesome.
That's
She's
great.
So cool.
She is really cool. We hung out with her at the Ronnie James Dio gala benefit for Stand Up and Shout, and what a nice lady. And she still rocks, man. She never stopped, you know, and that's the thing. So we were talking about it, and I think, you know, life goals are to make sure that I can still do that when I'm her age.
Yeah, totally. Well, speaking of the Dio thing, I mean, you guys were the last band to play with Ronnie before he passed.
Yeah, crazy, huh?
How was that? How did you find him personally, and how is that now? You look back on it.
He was awesome. He was in a good mood. He sang his ass off all night long, you know. And then they took time, him and the band, to meet us afterward because they knew we were fans. And our agent set it up in the States because he booked Heaven and Hell too. And I think Coheed was opening up for him, and they couldn't do the last show of that tour. And we happened to be passing through with a day off on another tour we were on. So, do you guys want to play? We're like, fuck yeah, what did we do? You know?
I was freaking out. I was absolutely freaking out.
He's just a gifted man.
David Draymond has a great story about that.
Because David is super regimented and does his warm up and has his rules, and I do too. But I'm always I last half a tour, and then I'm like, oh, give me a beer. But he was telling me he asked Ronnie, you know, so like, what's your warm up routine? And I guess Ronnie turned to me, he's like, son, if you got to warm up, you don't have it, and like crushed him. I'm like, oh no, you know.
You don't got it.
But it's funny though, because when I was talking to Ronnie, he said he didn't say that, but I didn't ask him what he did to warm up because I just didn't want to jinx it. But he was telling me that he started with, you know, playing horn, you know, so he was actually, technically, he was trained to breathe correctly, which is 90% of it, you know, so that makes so much sense. So even though he didn't warm up, he was definitely, he had it going on.
Well, you know, the Dio tribute record that you guys put Straight from the Heart on, why did you choose that song?
You know what's funny? We were actually recording it anyway because we love the song, and I really wanted to do a Dio song on one of our cover EPs. So this was over Grammy week when we won the Grammy, and so it was like debauchery that whole week. But ended up recording the song for that, and then, you know, Wendy Dio, and when Wendy calls and asks you to do something, you do it.
Yeah.
And we told her, like, well, we actually just recorded this song. We won't put it on our EP, but you can have it and do with it what you want. And so, you know, ended up doing it for that. And what a cool thing to be a part of, because when we performed at the benefit, just so many different artists just stopped everything they were doing. Some of us were touring, some people were in the studio. Everybody stopped everything that they were doing to come together and do that. So
and they had a killer like silent auction with all this cool memorabilia stuff. What did you get? I got Ronnie's personal bookends. So that was great.
Are they dragons?
No, they just say RJD on them, you know.
Cool.
They're like clear, and came with some really cool like coffee table books, old out of print Dio ones and stuff.
Right, man.
But they're just neat. But I love all that shit. Like, those are Ronnie's bookends, man.
Well, I mean, we're talking about, you know, playing with Ronnie, playing with Heaven and Hell. I mean, for you, I guess, you know, playing with those guys as well. As a musician, you know, you're looking at guys like, you know, Iommi and Geezer Butler and those good dudes. I mean, what do you...
Slaying it.
Yeah, how do you deal with that? I mean, you know, how do you not kick into fanboy mode?
Oh, it's always going on inside.
Sometimes I can, like, play it cool, like, hey, cool, good to meet you, all right. You know, but other times I just geek out and say the dumbest shit, and then I'm like,
just dork.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Stupid. Hey, never gonna be best friends. Never gonna be best friends anyway. But you know, it's like it's an honor and it's a privilege, and it's one of those things that you never think are gonna happen.
Yeah,
you know that when you start a band or you're playing all those bars and you're looking at people doing stuff, and you're like, wow, that is so cool, and the next thing you know, you're doing it a few years later. It's like, wow, how do you even get here?
You know? There's some 16-year-old kid in the audience who in 20 years' time might meet you in a band and be like, oh,
Really nuts. Really nuts.
Now, I was going to say, I was looking through your videos, you with the ridiculous twin neck white Gibson,
Yeah.
and I wonder how many times you've played Stairway to Heaven on that.
Oh man, I actually haven't yet. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to just to up the voodoo a little bit with that thing. That's a heavy guitar. I'm so glad ended up. It's a double neck SG.
Yeah.
If I had done any other style of guitar, I don't think I would be able to hold that thing up. Yeah, it's a fun new toy.
Yeah. Now you've been on the latest record. You were writing with Scott Stevens, I think.
Yeah.
Right? 8 tracks with him. What did he add to the writing process for you guys that maybe you thought maybe was missing?
He is awesome. He's so we met the guy how many years ago? A couple years ago, and maybe 5 years ago, and just really clicked. And for whatever reason, he understands how we work, and it's really kind of freaky because we'll get into a room with no ideas whatsoever and come up with these crazy things that just doesn't even seem like we actually did it. It just kind of came out of nowhere. It's like, so you have to kind of respect that magic. And so on this record, we just really wanted to hone in, and like if we were going to write with anybody, it needed to be him, and just focus on people that we really connect
He
with.
was cool. One of the first songs we wrote with him, he came in with the idea, but it was based off a tweet. Lzzy wrote some tweet.
He was stalking me on
6
Twitter.
months earlier, and he's like, "Hey, I saw this tweet," and he had it like printed out, and he's like, "So I kind of made that a chorus, and or just this part of this musical part, and let's make a song out of that, because here's it, and it was Amen, the chorus for Amen." And
It just
wow,
like
that's
blew
so
my
cool,
mind.
man.
I'm like, that's really weird, man, because like I wrote the tweet, but I wasn't looking at it like it was a song. So that, again, it's like kind of that sneak attack, that person that can see things from the outside that you can't see, and so we just work really well together.
I suppose if you're writing lyrics all the time, then you kind of, that's in your mindset, and the way you put words together is different to the way other people put words together.
Yeah, and especially when you're writing for a record and you're in that mode, it like all of a sudden like anybody says anything like, "Oh, write that down," and we just get into like obsessive, that would be a good title for a song. Just and then we
Grilled
go,
tomato, no cheese.
yeah, all right, put it down.
Cheese. All right. Sort of. Now, and how do you balance, what you do? Because there are songs, Halestorm songs, that feel like they're written for radio. They kind of feel like they've been written with the express purpose of getting thousands and thousands of people to hear them. And then there's other songs which, to me, and I could be wrong here, but sound more like what you want to do personally, and they're heavier songs that maybe aren't quite so radio friendly. So, how do you balance that? Do you go into an album and go, all right, we need 4 singles, so let's write 4 songs that radio are going to love, and then we'll do what we like for the rest? How does that work?
We stopped initially going into it thinking we have to write a hit today, because usually 9 times out of 10 when you're going in there with that mindset, it's not a good song at all that comes out of that. So what we did with this last record was just kind of chased after whatever got us excited, and then we're like, okay, well that actually sounds super hooky, let's focus on making sure that is a simple arrangement. And so a lot of the songs we ended up fucking with after the fact, even like just in the studio. So most of the songs that you hear on the record don't sound anything like the demo, because we either shortened it for radio or did something different, or expanded it for no apparent reason and rewrote parts while we were doing it. So
at the end of the day, we just chase what gets excited. If like there's a good idea, or there's a good line, or there's a good riff, or a good melody, just like let's hunt that down and try to simplify it and get it down to its bare bones of what makes it good and excites us, and expand off that and see what happens. I like a lot of like radio rock, that sort of thing is they're almost like pop songs,
Yeah.
And I dig that, because that's really fucking hard to do. Like just to like, to me it's simplifying and not and like
and also drafting, redrafting. Like you have this piece, and then you're like, okay, well that's great as it is, but can we make it better? And you don't even really know where you're going to end up until like it's more of a feeling thing. Like when you're satisfied, it's like, okay, that's the way the song is supposed to be. But it's fun to chase that down And with us,
it's hard for me like to simplify because I always overplay, and I just have to like, all right, just chill on a second, take a breath.
4 chords and the truth, man.
Let's keep
Neil Young.
You know, it's that, it was an old, I think it was an Arlo Guthrie quote that says anybody that puts more than 2 chords in a song's just showing off.
Yeah, that's awesome. Bring it on, buddy.
And in terms of, you know, recently I saw you interviewed about the Guns N' Roses reunion, and you were saying it was sad that, you know, guys like Slash and Axl, after being in a band for so long that had achieved so much, can't be in the same room or whatever. And you said that, you know, you could never see that happening with Halestorm. But I noticed that you're based in Nashville now, and you know there's a little bit of country creeps into some of the stuff that you've done. Is there a Lzzy Hale country record like Steve Tyler's done around the corner?
I don't know if I could ever go full country. I could simplify and do like something a little bit more bluesy maybe, but it'd be tough for me to go full country. Like I just don't, not because I don't like it. I just don't think I have the twang for it. You know, it's like I've gone so far the other way. I don't know if I can come out the other side. Now, you know, that being said, Nashville has become this very roots based, even in rock and roll. Everything, like we were talking about before, with the simplifying, everything is based on performance and can you cut it live. So that's what I love about that city. But at the same time, it's like I'm sure that the you know influence, like the little country earworm, gets itself in there, you know, because
it's a great rock and roll town. There's all these rockers live there. Like so many rockers live in that town.
Megadeth, Korn, Seether.
Yeah, Tom Kiefer. And every Tuesday night they have the rock and roll residency, and these dudes just play this old rock and roll, and they have guests come up all the time. Alice Cooper's been in there, and their list of people have been in everything is huge.
So cool.
It's just like there's a cool rock and roll scene going, and like you said, it's more like pure rock and roll.
Which people get confused with, you know, like classic rock, as in like roots rock, as in, well, I don't know how to call it, you know.
It's just dudes that can play their fucking ass off.
People that can
rock it, and it's just fun.
Believe me, you can walk into a bar like any night of the week in that town, like on a Tuesday afternoon, and this guy that no one's ever heard of is just slaying. And I tell him all the time, like, man, I'm glad we didn't cut our teeth in this town. We get eaten alive, you know. But yeah, so it's a lot of fun.
For you guys, get an answer from each of you. The first record, or the first time that you heard rock and roll or heavy metal or whatever, and you went, fuck, that's what I want to do. What was the record, and what was the situation around you hearing it?
It wasn't a record per se. It was actually a VHS tape that was given to me by a friend of my mom's, and it was Cinderella's Night Songs collection of all their videos. And my brother and I would watch that over and over again, like in our parents' living room. And I remember wanting to be Tom Kiefer. And so now that I've gotten to meet him, it's really weird. But that was definitely a huge influence.
For me, it was like the local radio station where I grew up in Wisconsin. I heard like, you know, Nirvana. I was in middle school, Nirvana, and all the 90s bands were just popping right then. And for some reason it was like guitar. I was like, I need to know.
I need to do that.
What is this magic? How do I unlock it? You know?
Yeah.
And just took it from there. That's the beginning of the journey, and now we're totally out there.
Yeah, totally. Well, what's your poison these days? If I'm going to take you to a bar and you're going to order something, what are you drinking these days?
Oh man, alcohol.
He doesn't discriminate.
I will
Yeah.
drink anything you put in front of me. Let's party. No, we always have a good whiskey if we can.
Yeah, good whiskey.
Try to get local beer wherever we can. See what the local flavor is. What's a good New Zealand beer? What are we drinking here?
You'd probably most of because there's a couple of big breweries, but most of their beer is pretty flavourless. You know, it's not that great. It's like drinking. You know, I guess
Stein. Is it Stein?
Yeah, Steiny Pure's all right. Stein like a Pure is okay.
I like the weird shit, the IPAs. The real
well, if you want
shit.
IPAs, look out. There's a brewery called Epic.
Okay.
Epic, and they do an IPA, but they do one which is called the Armageddon IPA, and that's 6.66%.
Oh my god!
And
nice.
that's a really good beer, and it's really lots of flavour as well.
The
But
number of the beer.
The number of the beer, yeah. So there's a lot of those kind of beers now in New Zealand. There's a big craft brewing thing,
Nice.
And there's another one called Parrot Dog, who are from Wellington, is the brewery, and they've got one called the Bitter Bitch, which is their IPA, and that's really fucking.
Cool.
Really tasty too. So there's a
Try that
couple.
just for the name alone.
Yeah, exactly. Are you the same, Lzzy? Whiskey?
Yeah, I do whiskey. Lately, I've been enjoying tequila, and there's this tequila called Asombroso. That is, it's kind of like the whiskey of tequila. So it's like a sipping tequila. I was a bit into that.
No salt and lime involved.
No, you don't need the training wheels.
Yeah. Cool.
We
cool.
had we just were in Canada before we came over here, did a full run, and we just got way deep into wine. It was like the wino tour. It was hilarious.
I guess we
get like 5 or 6 bottles a night in between it. We have like a pretty big crew, and between the 10 of us, 12 of us on a bus, we just plow through bottles of wine and have a great goddamn time.
Good shit, man. Good shit. Got to have fun when you're on tour.
Absolutely.
All right, so you might be able to dob each other in here. I don't know how this will go. You'll probably just gang up on your brother, but what's the
He's
most...
not here to defend himself.
Yeah, what's the most disgusting habit of somebody you've toured with?
You know what? I am going to actually dog my brother because we had to stop him from doing this. He brings the most luggage out of all of us, but then he only wears like one outfit for the entire tour.
Oh, God.
But then he would hang up his sweaty pants in like the bunk hall. So like you'd like be walking through and get like spider webbed by his sweaty ass pants.
I remember a show in Buffalo, New York,
Oh,
and he had
that
like a
was
fan on him, blowing from behind him. We're sitting there playing, and we're like,
What is that
"What is
smell?
that smell? Oh my God!" And like the third song,
It's
back and
RJ.
we realized that he'd been wearing an outfit for like 3 weeks straight, and he was just blowing his taint right
Yeah.
on us. And, like, dude, turn the fan off. Stop the show.
Remember for his birthday, we decided it was a great idea to get him with the pie in the face, like just a whipped cream pie, but he didn't like wash his hair afterward, so the next day it just smelled like vom, and it was just
whipped
gross.
cream, old whipped cream smell.
That is outstanding.
Yeah,
It's
so
awesome.
sorry, little bro, you're not here to defend yourself, and if you're gonna do stuff like that, it's gonna get out there.
All right, weirdest fan request or run on with a fan?
Oh, fan request? We got a bunch of them.
She was given a tampon once.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it was weird because there's this. It was an adorable like 17-year-old little girl, and she gives me like an envelope with what looked like a note in it, and so she's like, here, read this later. And I open up the envelope. There is a note, but then there's a tampon. It wasn't used. It was
That's good.
whatever. But in the note, she asked me to the next time that time comes to use it and then tweet her this code word so that she knew that I used the tampon she gave me, and I guess to be closer to me. I don't know. It was very strange, and it was like but she was like serious and genuine about it. So that was strange.
They weirded everybody.
Yeah.
That is weird, man.
That was strange.
And then I got a tampon. No.
Oh,
And finally, a kid comes up to you and says, "What's heavy metal?" And you can give them one record.
one record. It would be Mob Rules by Heaven and Hell by Sabbath.
I was going Sabbath.
You have to go Sabbath.
Can't decide which Sabbath record though.
Yeah, well, that's why I went with Dio and Sabbath, because then it's a nice vast array, and I love Dio.
Fuck, man, I don't know. Here's Sabbath greatest hits.
Yeah, right.
Start there.
Start there, and then
start peeling it back.